Hi there, listeners. Thanks for coming to Project AK-47blog.com. This is Lucas Gifford with Project AK-47, and we are also talking with our founder, Marcus Young, today about what Christmas looks like for our kids in the orphanages in Southeast Asia. Hi, Marcus.
Hey, Lucas. Thanks for having me.
You got it, man. So we'll just get right into it. I'm sure our listeners are curious what Christmas looks like for our kids. Are there any cultural Christmas traditions? Do they even celebrate Christmas in these areas of the world?
Well, Christmas is a pretty international event. I was just thinking, I was with a Muslim governor when we were doing our girls' home for girls coming out of sex trafficking earlier this I guess, November, December, and, he had a nice big Christmas tree in his house, and so, yeah, I think, all over the world people celebrate Christmas in different ways. I think one of the funny things is some parts of the world, they take Christmas songs and adapt them so you can hear like "Oh Holy Night" to like a Jingle Bells tune or something like that, and some of those things kind of warp your brain a little bit. You grew up hearing it one way and it comes out another, but a lot of these areas, they love the traditions. They don't really care where it came from. They love celebrations, and kids are no exception to that. Kids love big celebrations. So, yeah, I not in every home and not in every location do we celebrate Christmas, but in because we try to be culturally sensitive. But in most cases, there is some kind of a Christmas celebration, and in some places there's big parties. So.
Wow. So when you say there's big parties, what does that look like?
That'd be like we buy a couple pigs or cows, and some of the older kids would help slaughter them, and they butcher them, and they roast them and cook them up, and so to them to be able to do that from some of the communities they're in, that's a big deal. They've got all sorts of contests and games and skits and karaoke night, and just a variety of activities. And then of course we try to do gift giving as well. So
cool. And what when you say gift giving, what kind of gifts do the kids usually get?
On a lot of our projects, just because of limited budget, we have to get pretty practical. So it's things like soap and toothpaste, new pair of clothes, shoes, blankets, coats. But for kids like this, that's a big deal to get a new pair of clothes, and they're excited about it. A lot of times too, there's extra treats. So it'll be a little candy or some chips or something like that. We'll give them some kind of like stocking stuffer kind of stuff as well.
That's cool.
Sweeten it up.
That's cool. What's the weather like in a lot of these places?
Again, it kind of depends on location, but whether you're talking about Mexico, it can be pretty chilly. I was there January last year, and it was below freezing. We had our pipes froze every night. We'd have to wait for them to thaw out before we could shower, and so we were all bundled up next to a space heater. And then a lot of places we do projects in Burma too. They get quite cold. It depends from location to location. So some areas are still very pleasant this time of year, but some of our projects, if you get a kid a warm jacket and some socks, that's heaven for them. They're like,
that's awesome.
They're in bliss. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So since we wanted to keep this pretty short, where's a place on the website where if anybody that's listening wants to donate, where they can donate to Project AK-47 for Christmas gifts or just any other kinds of donations at all? Is there any place that you would recommend that they go?
Well, I believe that there's several different avenues. I think on just about every page on our website there's a Donate Now button you can click, and you can go into that donate page and do a gift to somebody, on behalf of somebody to Project AK-47, where they'll get an email informing them. That's one way of you can alternatively give. And then also, if you go through our Where There's Story site, where we sell the merch, the T-shirts, dog tags, etc. I believe that there's some alternative giving options like, a bag of rice for kids, etc. I think that there's a few things available there as well if you want to just specify a donation. Those would be a couple of the more common routes, that people would give that are a little bit more geared to, gift giving versus just a general donation to help us do what we do. That's great.
Well, Marcus, thank you so much for taking a few minutes and just answering some questions. I'm sure people love what you're doing. Again, we are Project AK-47, and we rescue child soldiers in Southeast Asia, Burma, the Philippines, and in Mexico, and we're also doing some work in Sri Lanka. Thanks for reading our blog. Make sure to check back next week. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Project AK-47 and find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Project AK-47. Again, thank you so much, Marcus.
Hey, thank you, friend.